मंचावर विराजमान आजच्या कार्यक्रमाचे अध्यक्ष, महाविद्यालयाचे प्राचार्य डॉक्टर शिवाजीराव गायकवाड सर, प्रमुख पाहुणे म्हणून उपस्थित दयानंद विधी महाविद्यालयाचे प्राध्यापक डॉक्टर जी लक्ष्मण सर, आपल्या महाविद्यालयाच्या नॅकचे कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर प्रशांत माननीकर सर, या सर्व उपस्थितांचं सर्वप्रथम शब्दसुमनांनी स्वागत करून मी आजच्या कार्यक्रमाला सुरुवात करत आहे अध्यक्षांच्या परवानगीने. कार्यक्रमाचा एक छोटासा औपचारिक भाग म्हणून आजच्या कार्यक्रमाचे प्रमुख पाहुणे डॉक्टर जी लक्ष्मण सरांचं स्वागत पुष्पगुच्छानं करावं अशी विनंती मी आजच्या कार्यक्रमाचे अध्यक्ष आणि आमचे प्राचार्य डॉक्टर शिवाजीराव गायकवाड सरांना मी करतो. कुठल्याही औपचारिकता समोर ठेवण्यापेक्षा किंवा कुठल्याही औपचारिकता निभावण्यापेक्षा मी आजच्या कार्यक्रमाचे प्रमुख पाहुणे डॉक्टर जी लक्ष्मण सरांना अशी विनंती करतो की त्यांनी आम्हाला IPRच्या संदर्भामध्ये, जसं की नॅकनं आपल्याला मार्गदर्शक सूचना केलेल्या आहेत की महाविद्यालयामध्ये IPRच्या संदर्भामध्ये कार्यक्रम झाले पाहिजेत. IPRचे अनेक कांगोरे आहेत, अनेक छोटे छोटे त्याचे घटक आहेत. त्या प्रत्येक घटकांचा अभ्यास महाविद्यालयामध्ये झाला पाहिजे, त्याची माहिती सगळ्यांना असली पाहिजे. या अनुषंगाने आपण मागच्याही 1-2 वर्षामध्ये IPRच्या संदर्भातले कार्यक्रम घेतले आणि प्रत्येक वेळी आपण एका वेगळ्या विषयावर ती माहिती आपण सर्वांपर्यंत पोहोचवण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. तर आजच्या या कार्यक्रमामध्ये आपण आजचे प्रमुख पाहुणे डॉक्टर गुडा लक्ष्मण सर यांना अशी विनंती केली होती की त्यांनी आम्हाला कॉपीराईटच्या संदर्भामध्ये मार्गदर्शन करावं आणि आमच्या विनंतीला मान देऊन सर इथं आलेले आहेत. मी सरांना अशी विनंती करतो की त्यांनी IPRच्या अनुषंगाने कॉपीराईटच्या संदर्भामध्ये सविस्तर असं मार्गदर्शन आम्हाला करावं. धन्यवाद.
Today opportunity given by the Arts College by the principal SP Gaikwad sir as well as Solanki sir and Manikar sir. So I wish to utilize this opportunity to deliver a information in the light of the copyright. I projected a title on this issue, that is a copyright in the light of plagiarism, piracy and infringement. In this connection, the scope of the area targeted in such a manner that international instrument with regard to IPR, reflection of the international instrument with regard to the copyright law in India, characteristics of Copyright Act 1957, meaning of the term copyright, objectives of the Copyright Act 1957, subject matter of the Copyright Act 1957, interpretation of Section 13 of the Copyright Act 1957, Code of conduct for the works of the copyright, plagiarism, piracy and infringement of copyright, rights of an author under Copyright Act 1957, infringement of Copyright Act 1957 and status of piracy or infringement in India, factors for infringement of copyright, further remedies against infringement of Copyright Act 1957. So this is a scope on which we are going to focus the information. The first, in the light of the international instrument with regard to the intellectual property rights. So before intellectual property, there was a GATT, GATT. It was in existence in the year of 1947 in order to control the trade and commerce. Later, in the year of 1995, the World Trade Organization came into existence in place of GATT. Later, the member countries of WTO are automatically bound over by the agreement. The agreement consists of most of the forms of intellectual property like patent, copyright, trademarks, trade secrets, geographical indications, industrial designs, and exclusionary rights over new plant variety. Further, the international copyright law. The international copyright does not exist. Each country, it has a domestic copyright law that apply to its own citizens, also to the use of foreign content when used in one's country. Further, I would like to place in the light of the administration of the intellectual property by the WIPO. WIPO means World Intellectual Property Organization. Under this, the administration being carried out by the World Intellectual Property in the light of the copyright-related treaties. In the copyright-related treaties, the Beijing Treaty on Audiovisual Performance and Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works. Next, Brussels Convention relating to the distribution of program carrying signals transmitted by satellite. Geneva Convention for the protection of producers of phonograms against the unauthorized duplication of their programs. And Marrakesh Treaty to facilitate access to published works for persons who are blind, visually impaired, or otherwise print disabled. Rome Convention for the protection of the performers, producers of the phonogram and broadcasting organization. WIPO, World Intellectual Property Copyright Treaty, that is WCT. And further, you can see that World Intellectual Property Organization Performance and Phonograms Treaty, that is a WPPT. So these are the certain international agreements that is administered by the World Intellectual Property Organization. Now I would like to place the Copyright Act 1957. In this, the silent features in the light of the Copyright Act 1957, this is a amendment act and various amendments taken place from time to time in order to meet dynamic challenges of the society. Now, the business of the Copyright Act projected in such a manner, that is a creation of statute. Creation of statute in this, the Copyright Act 1957 is specifically made out by the legislature in order to settle and protect the rights of the copyright holder or author. Under this act, there is no other act is in existence in order to protect Copyright Act 1957 copyrights. Especially only Copyright Act 1957 is the only a proper and specific act where the rights of the various authors in the light of a dramatic, literary, artistic, cinematograph, film and sound recording works comes under this subject matter. Further, the form of intellectual property. The Copyright Act 1957 is a form of intellectual property. It is not like a the creation of works not comes under the property, conventional property. It is a creation property is derived from the mind. Therefore, it is comes under the intellectual property. Further, negative rights. So, negative rights in the sense that the Copyright Act 1957 negatively against the other than the authors or copyright holders. It is working against them. It means that no one shall pirate, infringe, or adopt a plagiarism in this way, that is working against them. So, further you can see that neighboring rights in the sense that the copyright law not only preventing the others other than the authors or copyright holders, but also it is prevents that the neighboring works like a publicly performance in the light of the dramatic work, or it can be protected that the public performance and broadcasting lines, etc. Further, no force of registration. Under the Copyright Act 1957, there is no compulsion in the light of registration. As in the case of Patent Act 1970, there is a mandatory for the registration. As in the case of patent, it is necessary. Understand? As in the case of trademarks, it is necessary to protect the rights of the trademarks. Or in case of patents, the registration is mandatory. But as in the case of Copyright Act 1957, having no compulsion in the light of the registration. Now, the question arises that Act itself is made not compulsion for the registration, when the question is that if it is not registered, then the work is protected or not. Yes, even though it is not registered, work is protected when the works covered by the Copyright Act 1957. Further, you can find that the silent features of the Copyright Act, that monopoly right. The monopoly right, as in the case of patents, as in the case of trademarks, as in the case of geographical indications, etc., the monopoly is mandatory up to the certain restricted period. But as in the case of Copyright Act 1957, there is no monopoly confined, and it is open to everybody in order to create their skillful work, creative work. It is allowed, but it shall not be pirated, it shall not be copied, or it shall not be infringement of the copyright authors and holders. Next, multiple rights. In the light of multiple rights, the Copyright Act 1957 provides a multiple rights. It means recognized the rights. For an example, Mr. A written a book. Mr. A written a book on that particular matter. It means that there are multiple rights derived. In case of publication of that literary work, and on the same literary work, it can be converted into a dramatic manner, or it may be converted into a picture, or making a film on that matter, or various forms of, or it may be translated in any other languages, that also it is recognized. Understand? Therefore, there are multiple rights you can see under the copyright law. It is not available as in the case of patents and copyright, etc. Further, you can see that works out of the copyright. Works of the out of the copyright, it means that though they are qualifying as a copyright within the framework of the Copyright Act 1957, but however, certain that works are though qualified, but it is away from the Copyright Act 1957, where the Copyright Act is connected to the immoral literature. where immoral things are not recognized under the law. The same manner under the Copyright Act 1957, rejecting that immorality. In case of illegal works are there, that illegal works does not cover. And such things opposed to the public things, that is not recognized. And defamatory information, defamatory literature, it is not recognized. There is no right recognized in case of the what you call the Copyright Act. Therefore, such works are out of the copyright law. There is no confirmation of right, there is no protection of the rights. Further, no need for quality work. It is important to note that, my dear friends, in this connection, that quality work is necessary. Everybody is concentrating at the time of making work whether quality work is required. Many persons are focusing there on the what you call quality work. But copyright ideology is like that. It is not focusing on the quality work. It is focusing on the new ideas, innovative ideas, creative ideas. On that work, it is protected. Though work it is not a qualified, quality work, but only the how much innovation is there, that is to be required for the Copyright Act 1957. That is very much important in the light of the copyright law. So therefore, these are the certain silent features and business exercising by the copyright. Now I would like to project the meaning of the copyright. What is meant by a copyright? So copyright is a combination of two words. It is a phrase according to the English grammar. The copy plus right. So now we have to understand the copyright. Therefore, it can be divided into two forms. Number one, the copy. What does it mean, copy? Copy means an imitation, reproduction or transcript of an original is known as a copy. A right means a right is recognized by the state, sovereign state, in respect of the behavior of the person. Understand? Therefore, the copy must be understood. Copy means imitation, means reproduction, transcript, etc. from the original. And this means where there is a original, then we have to take a copy of the original. For an example, better understanding is that example, that is a Xerox copy. Xerox copy is a original copy or Xerox copy? It is a copy. It is derived from the original. Understand? It is not a original work. Therefore, in this way, better understanding a copy of a famous printing, it is known as a what you call copy. So, right means a person who has a right to copy. That is to be understood. Other than original owner having no right to take a copy. Only original person having a right to make a Xerox. That is to be understand the meaning of copyright. A person who has created original work, that person entitlement to make a copy for publishing the literature, to transforming into a picture, transforming into a dramatic way. Understand? These are all the derivative rights under the copyright from the original work, that person having a statutory right. No other person can entitlement of making copy. So further, I would like to say that the dictionary meanings in this way. The word copyright originated from the expression copier of words. The word itself is said to have been used for first time in 1568 to denote a manuscript or other matter pertaining for printing. Copyright in the simplest form can be said to have existed in the ancient age. Under Roman law, if one man wrote something on the paper or parchment of another, writing belonged to the other of the paper or a parchment is known as a copyright. Further, you can see that under the Black Dictionary, it is provided that copyright is a right in literary property as recognized and sanctioned by positive law. And you can see that information in the light of the Chambers of Encyclopedia. It provides the meaning of copyright. Copyright is the exclusive right to multiply copies of the book is known as a copyright as defined the Chambers of Encyclopedia. So, my dear friends, I would like to place now the objectives of the Copyright Act 1957. The Copyright Act 1957 having a certain objective, that is the first object is encouragement of the original work. The main objective of the Copyright Act is to encourage authors, composers, artists and designers to create original works by rewarding them with the exclusive rights for a limited period. That is usually for the life of the originator plus 60 years to exploit the work for monetary gain. And also you can find that second objective of the protection to the originator. The objective of the copyright law is also in essence to protect the authors and creators of the original work from the unauthorized reproduction or exploitation of his or her materials. The right is also extended to prevent others from exercising without authority any other form of right attached to the copyright. For example, in case of a literary work, the right of a translation, adoption, or you can say adaptation or abridgment, etc. These are the certain objectives. Now, important area under the Copyright Act struck with section 13 of the Copyright Act 1957. So, the Copyright Act provides that the subject matter of the copyright under this section. Section 13 clause 1 says that jurisdiction of the copyright is all over India. The following classes of work are under the protection of copyright. Now, section 13 clause 1 says the original literary, dramatic, musical and artistic works. Further, cinematograph, film and sound recording. These are all the certain works which is projected under section 13 clause 1 of the Copyright Act 1957. There are certain rights under the copyright law. These are normal or economic rights, moral rights, neighboring rights. The economic rights are given under section 14 of the Copyright Act. The moral rights are given under section 57, or the neighboring rights are given under section 37A and 37B. So, therefore, these are the important sections. It is to be understood in such a manner. Now, I would like to flash the subject matters on which the copyright is covered. So, now the neat question arises that for a better understanding, what is the subject matter of copyright? In this way, that answer is that literary work, dramatic work, musical work, artistic work, cinematograph, film, sound recording, these are the various works which can see under the subject matter of the Copyright Act under section 13 clause 1. So, my dear friends, now you have to understand what is meant by a literary work. Literary work includes tables and compilations, instructions expressed in the form of codes, words and schemes, computer databases and computer programs comes under the literary works. Now, further you can see that dramatic works. What things comes under the dramatic work? Includes any piece of recitation, choreographic works or entertainment, dumb shows and other scenic arrangements or acting form of which is fixed in writing or otherwise but does not include a cinematograph film is known as a dramatic works. These works comes under the what you call dramatic works. Now further, artistic works. What are the artistic works? Painting, photograph includes photo lithograph and any work produced by any process analogous to photography but does not include any part of cinematograph, film, sculpture, engraving including etching, lithographs, woodcuts, prints and other similar works, nor being photographs, drawings including maps, charts, plans and diagrams, architectural works of an article, any building or structure having an artistic character or design or any model of such building or structure, architectural work of an article, any work of artistic craftsmanship, it is comes under, these are all works you can find under the artistic works. Further, music works. Music work covers, music means any combination, melody and harmony or either of them printed, reduced to writing or otherwise graphically produced or reproduced is known as a musical works. Next, cinematograph film includes the soundtrack if any and cinematograph shall be construed as including any work produced by any mechanical instrument or by radio diffusion or video films. Further, sound recording provides that the recording of sound from which can be reproduced is known as a sound works. Now, my dear friends, you came across with that subject matter of the copyright as designed under section 13 of the 13 clause 1 of the Copyright Act 1957. Now further, I would like to interpret the section. It is a fundamental fountain in the light of the subject matter and it is connected to all the parts of the Copyright Act 1957. Therefore, it is to be interpret the reality and what it is under the copyright law. So, section 13 of the Copyright Act 1957 is a form of a dimensional character. It projects a variety of forms of interpretation. So, interpretation derives that subject matter of the copyright. It is made it clear by reading of section 13 that subject matter is that literary work, dramatic work, musical work, cinematograph film, sound recording, etc. Literary work, these are all various works, made it clear all these works comes under the Copyright Act. And further, after going through these letters, then expected the form of works under the copyright. Okay? So, what is the expectation of the copyright works? The expectation of the work, it means the original work is expected. Other than original work does not covers under the copyright law, whether it may be a literary, dramatic, musical, cinematograph film, etc., whatever it may be. That origin paije, originality is necessary. Originality means it is excluded from the piracy. plagiarism, falsification, fabrication, duplicate. These are all works not covered, not protected. And further, it is expected that protection of copyright works where there is a original work, though it is not registered or registered, definitely protected. It is the assurance given by the Copyright Act 1957. Though it is not registered, you must be confident when in case of your violation of original work, it will be protected by taking your action. Next thing important is that beyond the copyright works, said after going through this what you call section 13, you also understand the implied, you can perceive the sense of the section 13 that beyond certain works are there. That is works in the light of the fabrication, falsification and plagiarism works. And you can say that infringement, piracy cases, immoral works, illegal works, defamatory works, and opposed to the public policies. These are all works beyond the copyright, having no room to protect, though it is comes under the subject matter of the copyright, but having no recognition. Further important is jurisdiction of the courts, copyright. The jurisdiction in the light of the Copyright Act where infringement has taken place, and it is applicable to all over the India. Understand? This is a national law, it is not a particular state law. It is applicable all over India. And further important thing that after going to this section 13, you can understand that the code of conduct for the work of copyright. Code of conduct for the works of copyright. So now we have to understand the code of conduct for the work of copyright. The works of copyright badly needed for publication ethics. Works of copyright badly needed for the publication ethics. When you want to publish, then before that you have to follow the publication ethics. Without following the ethics, you are making work that is not having a room under the copyright law. So, publication ethics or rules of conduct generally agreed upon when publishing the result of scientific research or other scholarly work. Generally, it is a standard that protects the intellectual property and forbids the republication of another's work without proper credit. That is one of the important thing in the light of the publication ethics. And also you can see, is it requires research ethics in publishing research work for the protection under the Copyright Act 1957? Yes, it requires research ethics for the protection under the copyright law. Research data, result, methods, procedures and publication status honestly. Strictly avoid falsification, fabrication and misrepresentation of research output attracts the copyright law in India. And next important thing is that in order to understand the violation of public ethics. The violation of the public ethics is a global phenomena, global problem which includes duplicate submission, multiple submissions, plagiarism, gift authorship, fake affiliation, ghost authorship, pressured authorship, salami publications, fabrication and falsification, excludes the honest errors committed by an author. So, my dear friends, the code of conduct important, the role of the publication ethics in the academic research, in the academic world. What is the role of the publication ethics? The role of the publication ethic is to uphold the ethical standard for publications. Second, the role of the public ethics is to ensure high quality scientific publications. The role of public ethics is to sustain public trust in scientific findings, and the people accept credit for their work and ideas. Further, you can find that how important ethics is in research and publication. There are several reasons why it is important to adhere to intellectual norms, ethical norms in research. First, norms promote the aims of research, such as knowledge, truth, and avoidance of errors. For example, prohibition against fabrication, falsification, or misrepresenting research data promote the truth and minimize errors. Now, I would like to shed my light on the plagiarism. It is a subject matter of the title, where plagiarism, piracy, and infringement is there. So, plagiarism is defined as any passing of another's ideas, of thoughts, expression, words, or work as one's own. It is a form of cheating. Plagiarism is nothing but a cheating. It is an act of dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain the advantages for himself. A violation of academic integrity. Plagiarism is a violation of academic integrity. Academic integrity allows the students and staff the freedom to build new ideas, knowledge, and creative works while respecting and acknowledging the works of others. Ignorance is not a legitimate excuse. In the law, you can say ignorance of law, no man can be excused. If a man is committed who says that further he admits that in the court of law, further I don't want to commit, now I realize it, please excuse me, don't provide me a punishment. The court is not going to excuse. Court is going to see whether you have committed a crime or not. If say it is a committed, then punishment is going to be awarded accordingly. Say, mala mait nahi, I don't know, these are all not excuses for the law. Law says that whether you have done it or not, if it is done by you, then punishment is provided. So therefore, as in the case of plagiarism, there is no excuse. Understand? You will be punished. So the next one is that important term I used, that piracy in the copyright law, copyright works. Piracy is the unauthorized use, reproduction, or sharing the copyrighted or what you call patented material, typically music works, TV shows, and softwares. This is known as a piracy. Piracy is nothing but a robbery, stealing the other's work. Next important thing is the term infringement. Infringement, the term connected to the Copyright Act 1957, where as a general matter, copyright infringement occurs when a copyrighted work is reproduced, distributed, performed, publicly displayed, or made into a derivative work without the permission of the copyright owner or copyright holder, then it is known as an infringement. So infringement is against the Copyright Act, and therefore there shall be a punishment. So my dear friends, so what I want to say next one important is the infringement of copyright is happening in recent times with the rapid advance of technology. Copyright infringement in the form of piracy has become a serious problem of international character. It is because of technological progress has made reproduction of copyright materials easy and cheap. Owning to the international character of copyright, various countries have joined to form a conventions for the protection of copyright owned by its nationals in other countries. The Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works is the result of such joint effort. India is a member of two of such conventions. So, accordingly, the Indian copyright owners can protect their copyright in almost in any country in the world. Appropriate action taken under the Copyright Act 1957 can stop infringement of copyright. Infringement of copyright is also an offense punishable with imprisonment and fine. Now, I would like to focus the what you call the present status of the infringement in the light of the nation, our nation. Our nation is the world's third largest piracy market in the world. In the case of infringement, piracy, plagiarism, as a consequences cassette sale. I would like to flash the report of 1997, not a recent report. So, as a consequence, cassette sale of pirate recording in 1997 were estimated at 174 million units with a value of some $83 million, making in India that world's third largest piracy market in volume and sixth in value. Sales through piracy in India account for nearly 30% of total unit sales, which was as high as 80% during the 80s. The piracy of compact disc is also becoming a serious problem in India. Now, I would like to share the cases in the light of the what you call cinematograph film, certain works, that is Hollywood to Bollywood. See, the Sholay is the famous picture, popular picture. It was made in the year of 1975, but however, the Sholay is a plagiarized picture that is from the Magnificent Seven in the year of 1960. And other is a cinema related, the Pipli Lai, that came into in 2010, and it is also plagiarized, that is from Mad City, which came into 1997, and Invitation to Suicide, that is also in the 2004, and Fana, that came into the 2006, that is derived from the plagiarism, that is a Eye of the Needle. Next, Man, that is 1999, came into 1999, An Affair to Remember, that is an English movie, 1957. Understand? And Mr. Yamis, also that is a part, and Switch is also certain parts are there. So, the Hollywood is plagiarizing in case of cinema makers. And further, in the songs, just now we have seen films and also film songs also, movie songs. Dabang song is also there. That is a Munni Badnaam Hui, Darling Tere Liye. This statement is picked up from the soundtrack of Pakistan film. The movie is Mr. Charlie and songs is Ladka Badnaam Hua, Asina Tere Liye. And it is transformed, modified and recorded in 1993. It is a plagiarism and claimed it is a claimed for 7 crores of rupees. Understand? So, my dear friends, next important is that a bomb, Jandu bomb case, a bomb for massages, but headache for the munni. Jandu bomb Tere Liye song, a famous song. A Jandu bomb maker, Imami serves a legal notice on the producers of Dabang for using the name of their product in the film item song. Okay. So these are all things plagiarized in this world. Likewise, China faces a plagiarism charge over the sculpture. A building is there, a gate, a steel gate made, that a British India sculptor Anish Kapoor said on Wednesday that he would take a legal action based on the copyright concern after noting a similarity between huge stainless steel globe like a sculpture in China and his Cloud Gate sculpture in Chicago. The sculpture in the far northwestern China city, etc. So this is plagiarized, and action is going to be taken in this matter. So, my dear friends, these are all the certain information in the light of the Copyright Act, their business, and how it is working, and all these things. So, there are a lot of things are there. So, my dear friends, I would like to come to remedies now. The remedies in the light of the copyright. In case of infringement, piracy and plagiarism is there, therefore, remedies follows. A author who is suffering infringement, and he can file a case under the what is called the Copyright Act 1957. So therefore, there are three kinds of remedies provided in case of infringement of copyright, namely civil remedies, criminal remedies, administrative remedies. Understand? What are the civil remedies? That is generally traditional injunctions provided. Injunction means there is a difference between injunction and injection. Injection is an instrument, medical instrument, by which medicine is throwing inside the body. That is known as an injunction. Injunction means that is judicial pronouncement, which restricts the wrongdoer. And that is the injunction damages. By injunction, damages provided, accounts of profits, delivery of infringing copies, and damages for the conversion certain works. And further, criminal remedies also there. In case not only civil remedy, but also criminal remedies, punishment is also there. The imprisonment for the accused, or imposition of fine, or both seizures of the infringed copies. Further, you can see that administrative remedies consist of moving the registrar of the copyrights to ban the importing the infringing copies into India, etc. So further, you can see that the jurisdiction of the court is in such a manner. So the High Court as well as the District Court is the competent jurisdiction in order to entertain the infringement cases, pirated cases, and plagiarism cases in the light of dramatic, literary, artistic, cinematograph film, okay, sound recording, etc., even musical recording. These are all things comes under the what we call violation. And further, you can see that limitation. So limitation is an important thing for every matter which required to bring into the court of law for the justice, to gain justice. Understand? The limitation is an important. So limitation is provided after the infringement, after the violation of your original work. When it comes to you within the 3 years, you have to bring a legal action in the court of law in order to get justice. So my dear friends, and these are the certain area of the copyright. So I feel very great in this morning, and our sir, Gaikwad sir and Solanki sir and Manika sir invited me to deliver a lecture on this copyright, and within the span of time, I covered the information, and thank you everybody.
धन्यवाद लक्ष्मण सर. आपण आमच्या विनंतीला मान देऊन इथं आलात. कॉपीराईटच्या संदर्भामध्ये अतिशय सविस्तर आणि अगदी सोप्या भाषेमध्ये आम्हाला जे मार्गदर्शन केलं त्याबद्दल मी माझ्या वतीनं तात्पुरता आभार मानतोय तुमचं. सर, आत्तापर्यंत आम्हाला आपण नेहमीच मदत करत आलेला आहात आणि यापुढेही आपल्या नियमित मार्गदर्शनाची आम्हाला गरज लागणार आहे. त्यामुळे मी आगाऊ तुम्हाला इन्व्हिटेशन मी आजच देतो की सर तुम्हाला भविष्यातही तुमची आम्हाला गरज लागणार आहे. धन्यवाद सर, आपण आता इथं आलात, आम्हाला मार्गदर्शन केलं. यानंतर मी आपल्या महाविद्यालयाच्या नॅकचे कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर प्रशांत माननीकर सरांना अशी विनंती करतो की त्यांनी आभार प्रदर्शन करावं.
Thank you, Dr. Solanki sir. I take this opportunity to place on record vote of thanks. My sincere thanks to Dr. G. Lakshman sir for his fantastic elaborations on one of the most important areas of intellectual property rights. So, properties obviously are properties and they have to be protected, but intellectual properties have become one of the important segments areas in properties, especially in academic fields. As far as the high quality of academic research is concerned, the research has to be protected, the inventions have to be protected, the intellectual rights have to be protected, and one of the areas in intellectual rights is copyrights. So, when the researcher puts in all his effort in creating valuable works, and if they are not protected by law, then there is every possibility that the entire academic session, entire academia might be in the dangers of degeneration. So, in this perspective, Dr. G. Lakshman has given us elaborations from the legal point of view and had made us aware about the different laws which can be used for protecting our intellectual properties in terms of copyrights. So, I thank Dr. G. Lakshman for his elaborations and the kind of information he has shared with us. I thank the organizer of this workshop, which has been held under the aegis of IQAC of Dayanand College of Arts. I thank Dr. Sunil Salonke sir, IQAC coordinator, for the organization of this program, and I also thank Dr. Shivaji Gaikwad sir, the principal of our college, for chairing this entire session. Thank you very much.